US President Joe Biden has withdrawn from the 2024 presidential race, leaving the Democratic Party in a scramble to find a new candidate months out from the election.
We're now joined by former Obama advisor Zach Friend in Santa Cruz. Zach, thanks so much for your time. It seems as though this has been cooking for a while, but Joe was very resistant to withdrawing. So what prompted this?
I think that, as President Biden had said repeatedly, if he didn't feel that he was the best candidate to beat Donald Trump, then he was willing to step aside. He said that in both the 2020 race and as well in this race. And I think that he must have reached that conclusion. I think that the election is going to be exceptionally close no matter who's at the top of the ticket. And I think, quite frankly, he actually still could have won. But the pressure campaign had been really, really strong here in the United States to try and get a change at the top of the ticket. And I think that if there was going to be a move, it had to be now. And so he's made that move.
Is it a fait accompli that Kamala Harris gets the running, or will others have a crack? And I know that there's funding issues with that.
You know, I sure hope that it is. I mean, that's his vice president. She was, you know, when people voted here in the primaries, they voted with an understanding they were voting for both Joe Biden and Kamala Harris on the ticket. And so I think that 14 million people in the Democratic primaries have already spoken that she would be the choice. It would definitely be the easiest. I think a contested convention would not help, because the more time that we're spending talking about Donald Trump, the more likely we are to win the election. The less time that we're spending, you know, having these sort of debates is better for us.
I mean, this is uncharted territory, Zach, isn't it, in a US presidential race? We're only months out from the election itself. Do the Democrats have enough time to turn things around?
Yeah, that's quite an understatement there on uncharted territory, but yes, we do, and I really do think that, especially if it's Vice President Harris, I think that it'll be good. This race was always going to be within the margin of error. When there's been polling done on multiple top of the ticket changes, it's still within the margin of error. To put into perspective for your viewers, we think that this election will be decided by about 50,000 votes over 5 states total. And so our hope is that maybe with a change here at the top of the ticket, and with Vice President Harris and whoever she chooses as her vice presidential candidate, we can swing those final voters and have another term.
So give us an idea then what happens in the next few weeks when they're making up their minds. How does the Democrat Party position it all?
Well, the Democratic National Committee is holding an emergency meeting as we speak right now to make a determination of how to move forward and whether to go forward with a virtual roll call that would nominate Vice President Harris, or to go through with a full open convention. My hope is that they do the roll call and just move forward with Vice President Harris, because, as I said, that would be the most likely path for us for victory. But all the same, there's enough time to get on all the ballots and to get her name as the top of the ticket on the ballots, as long as that decision is made within the next couple of weeks.
It is a different setup too, and on the campaign trail and also in a debate with Kamala. It's a different dynamic for obviously President Trump to deal with. The former president has to deal with all of that, but also in that kind of campaigning mode, is she going to be able to get close to him realistically?
Yeah, I think that, I mean, she's a former prosecutor. I've worked with her since she was a prosecutor here in the state of California, all the way up from attorney general to senator to now vice president. And she's going to be very effective at prosecuting the case against Donald Trump, as well as prosecuting the case in favor of the successes of the Biden-Harris administration. I think that right now, quite frankly, across the entire world, I mean, I've been hearing from folks across the entire world that they were terrified that Donald Trump would walk into another 4 years. And so I think that they feel that any sort of switch at the top would be good. And I think that she's very uniquely positioned to make that case.
Zach, how would Kamala be feeling right now? I mean, ultimately, depending on how you look at it, it looks as though the Democratic Party has knifed Joe Biden in a way he didn't want to go. How would she be feeling, you know, if she is named as his successor? And what are her next steps?
Well, he already did endorse her, and I think that they are a team. And so I think in that sense, she's probably appreciative of the fact that she has the unwavering support of the president of the United States, who also chose her to be the first black woman to ever serve as vice president of the United States, first woman to ever be vice president of the United States. She's broken a lot of barriers across her entire legislative career. At the end of the day, we don't have a whole lot of time, though, at this point on to start prosecuting this case against Donald Trump, who has, you know, a pretty significant head start here. I think that she is the best messenger for the Democratic Party to ensure that we win moving forward. And ballots are cast, by the way, mail ballots are cast in October, even though the election itself is in November. So we really don't have a lot of time to start moving forward with the new candidate.
Yeah, absolutely. Zach, thank you so much for
Thanks,
the insight.
Zach.
Really appreciate it.